Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. We're going to be working on multiplying binomials today. And the first one that I want to start you off with is I want you to take 13 times 15 using your calculator and tell me what you get. Now, you should get 195. So another way to do this, and I'm not expecting you to actually do this, but I'm doing it to prove a point for when we have variables in about, I don't know, 2 minutes or whatever. So I can make this 13 10 plus 3 because 10 plus 3 is 13, and I can make 15 10 plus 5. Okay, so I've got 13 times 15. Now, there's a couple different ways I want to show you guys how to do this. We're going to use our box method or the area method. We're going to take 10 plus 3 times 10 plus 5. And I know some of you may have seen this before because my fourth grader is doing stuff very similar to this. Okay, so we would take 10 times 10 to get 100. 10 times 3, we get 30. 5 times 10 is 50, and 5 times 3 is 15, and then we combine like terms. So we have 100, 150, 180, 195, which is what we got when we took 13 times 15 using a calculator. Now, another way to do this, I'm going to go back to 10 plus 3 times 10 plus 5. I'm going to do almost like a rainbow method. We're going to take 10 times 10, which is 100. Then I need to take 10 times the other thing in parentheses. 10 times 5 is 50. Okay, we're done with 10. Now I need to take 3 times everything on the other side the other set of parentheses. So we've got 3 times 10 is 30. And 3 times 5 is 15. Now, if you notice, these are the exact same numbers we had in our box before. So we're going to get to 195, which is what we wanted. Okay, so now that we have that figured out, and it actually works, and I'm not completely lying to you, we're going to take a binomial. Binomial means two terms. We're just going to take x plus 3 times x plus 5. You can either do our box method or you can do our little rainbows. So I'm going to draw my box. X plus 3 times x plus 5. X times x, anytime you're multiplying, we have to add their exponents. Now there's little ones on both of those. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15. Now if we're looking at combining like terms, we're going to start with our highest exponent. We have an x squared. That's the only x squared. Now I look at my x's. I've got a 3x and a 5x. 3x and 5x is 8x. And then we can use our final number, which is just a positive 15. So when I'm multiplying x plus 3 times x plus 5, we get x squared plus 8x plus 15. Now the other method, if I take x times x, I get x squared. X times 5 is 5x. Done with the x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 5 is 15. I have to remember to combine like terms. X squared is by itself. 5x and 3x is 8x. And I have 15 tacked on at the end, which is the exact same thing. I don't care which way you do it. You just have to do it correctly. Okay, so now let's take 3x minus 7 times 2x plus 5. Okay, I'm going to do the box method. 3x minus 7 times 2x plus 5. Now, 2x times 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. 2x times negative 7 is going to be a negative 14x. On the bottom here, if I take 5 times 3x, 5 times 3 is 15x. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. So don't forget to take this negative with the 7. Now if I combine like terms, I've got 6x squared. Negative 14 and positive 15 is positive 1, x, or just x. and then minus 35 here at the end for our answer. Let's do another one. Let's do 2 negatives in the middle. Oh, let's take 2x minus 9 times 3x minus 8. I'll do this one not using the box. So we've got 2x times our 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. 2x times negative 8 is negative 16x. We're done with that 2x. Now I have to take negative 9 times both of them. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27 with an x. And negative 9 times negative 8 is positive 72. So when I combine like terms, if you're noticing, we're always combining these two squares, or we're combining our middle terms. So I've got 6x squared. Negative 16 and negative 27 is what? Negative 43x plus 72. And later on, we're going to do something called factoring, which is super fun in my opinion. But we're going to take these and actually come up with binomials that look something like this. So we're going to work backwards, but for now we're just making them bigger. Okay, one last thing I want to show you guys is if I have 4x plus 3 squared. Actually, there's one more thing I want to show you after this. Anyway, 4x plus 3 squared is not 16x squared plus 9. It does not mean to square this and then to square your 3. Okay, it means we need to take 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. So we're going to make that box again. 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. 4x times 4x, 4 times 4 is 16. We've got x squared. 4x times 3 is 12x. 3 times 4x is 12x. And 3 times 3 is 9. So we have two of those. We have the 16x squared and the 9, but we also have the 12x and 12x in the middle. So we have 16x squared. This gets me to 24x plus 9 at the end. So you miss out on that whole 24x if you don't make your box or you don't make your little rainbows. Okay, so one more, last one. I'm going to give you 3x plus 5 times 3x minus 5. Okay, so we'll make our box 3x plus 5, 3x minus 5, and hopefully you guys notice some patterns that'll help you out later when we are factoring. So I've got 3x times 3x, that's 9x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. Notice that that's positive. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. And then negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. So now if I combine like terms, I've got my 9x squared. Hey, and look what happens. 15x minus 15x, that's 0. That's gone. Minus 25. So anytime we have the same thing, and the only difference is one's a plus sign, one's a minus sign, you will actually only end up with two terms because your middle two terms will undo each other. All right, good luck. One thing I want to point out, if we are looking at the form ax squared plus bx plus c, because your homework is going to be set up like this, if I have an answer here, my a in this case is 9 because it's in front of the x squared. My b is in front of the x. If you notice, we don't have an x, so it's going to be 0. And c here would be negative 25. So if we go back to this bottom one here, if I'm writing my answers, a would be 16, b would be 24, and c would be 9. So you'll still multiply them out, but then you'll just pick out your a, your b, and your c. Okay, have a good day, have a great week, and let me know if you have questions, and we can set up a Google Meet or email back and forth, whatever works best for you. Talk to you soon.